is moving a residential property into a family trust an advisable means of holding property? Bruno,
Sure.
what would you say about this?
So unfortunately, given our restricting time frame, I'm not going to be able to answer this with as much detail as I'd like. So what I'm actually going to do is next week I'll actually give it a bit more detail. But long story short, is it advisable? Depends on everyone's circumstances. I mean, that's always been the key to any form of planning, be it legal planning, litigation planning, tax planning, whatever the case is. So from a tax perspective, why would a person want to move it into a family trust? Why would a person want to retain it in their own name? And these certain factors need to be considered when dealing with this. So remember, why do you want to move it out of your personal name to begin with? Is normally estate planning when it comes to how much are you going to pay when you pass away. You obviously want to mitigate the amount of tax and death costs that you pay. So you need to look at the value of your estate, for example, and make a call on whether you're going to pay anything at all. Because some people have estates that fall under the 3.5 million rand rebate. So, the reality is how much estate planning really needs to go in to avoid death costs? Very little. There's other considerations that are more important. Second question, for example, is a movement of a primary residence or movement of any sort of immovable property. Is there a capital gains consequence to this? Because remember, as your primary residence, if it's in your personal name, you at least have that 2 million rand exclusion from capital gains. What that means is that if your property has increased in value over the last couple of years and you want to sell it, SARS will not tax you on the first 2 million rand of capital gains. So if you have this anyway, and you get to enjoy it in your personal name, and you anticipate some level of appreciation over the next couple of years, is it really valuable? If you wanted to keep this property for the rest of your life, and eventually you're going to pass away and you want your kids to have it, different story. Then put it into the trust because it makes no difference at all. But if, for instance, you know that eventually you're going to upgrade and move on to a better house that you're going to live in, then you know what, you might want to keep it in your name, because when you do eventually dispose of it, you're going to have that 2 million rand exclusion, so you won't have to pay any capital gains on it. So those are just two quick fire kind of tips that people need to consider. There's a whole range of them, but those are two of the most common questions, or rather two of the most common answers I give to people asking that question in their particular circumstances.